Nice office.
Thanks, dude. Welcome to Dallas.
Did you build it yourself?
Yes. Remember when you texted me and said, hey, do you want to go to the Jake Paul fight?
Mm-hmm.
You used meaner words than that, though. And I said, yes. I replied back.
Yeah.
And then you flew here and we went to Jake Paul.
Yeah, and I lost money.
Like $400
Yeah, I lost like every bet.
on some crap fights.
Yeah. But I did bet that there'd be a fight outside of the arena, and that was the only outside of the like octagon or the boxing, and that's the only bet I won. Because there's like fights everywhere.
There's fights everywhere. That was a wild night.
A lot of testosterone.
Yep. A lot of people losing money at that fight.
Good times. Vegas kickoff. Speaking of testosterone.
Yeah.
Vegas kickoff coming up. This year is going to be insane. I'm excited.
It's going to be probably the best Vegas retreat ever. We got the entire resort, so it'll be dope.
I'm going to remind you guys on how to earn Vegas. Either 100 FP. It's a leadership experience. We want to get the best of the best there. Or you can earn it as a rookie by having a 4-week run as of 2 weeks ago until the end of extension of 20 plus EFP. As a vet, 4-week run of 30 EFP or better. So
I love that you did that for your group.
And we are kicking ass and taking names right now.
Yeah.
Like Jake Roga did 15 last week because he knew he was heading home as a rookie.
Dang.
Or 2 weeks ago. We had a rookie do 12 last week. We'll go over the numbers, but we were the top senior region last week, over 400 accounts. So guys are working. Guys are killing.
Number one in all of Vivo.
Number one.
Beating them all. Taking names.
Go ahead.
Okay. Well, guys, looking at this list, this is ridiculous. Got to give it to our boy Jordy, breaking 16 EFP. Give it up to Jordy. That's big time. Very best week. You were telling me he was texting you and asking you how he breaks 15, because he did 15, right?
Yeah, he's always between 10 and 15, and I was out in Jackson, and he's like, dude, how do I crack the code? And I was like, I will show you. And now he did 16. I didn't show him anything, but I went and worked with him for a bit.
You know what I love about Jordy is he was messaging me about this and on Instagram, and I said it's time to do 20 now and give him the formula to do 20. It's as simple as breaking down. You got to do 3 every day, Monday through Friday, and then I got to do 5 on a Saturday. And I bet he does it. Like the guy's just trying to level up in every way, and not just talking about it, but he's actually putting the plan together and figuring out how to do it. He's asking people for advice and how to push those limits and get to that level.
Well, Jackson as a whole, like with that, is starting to just hit stride.
Mm-hmm.
I know they got bumped on the comp already, but losers bracket, they'll climb all the way back up.
One thing that Jordy had to figure out was how to sell cookie cutter. He doesn't know how to sell cookie, and I think he's finally figuring out how to sell middle class cookie cutter, which is awesome.
Well, same thing with Keaton, and Keaton barely missed it this week, but he just always sold like smaller packages.
Mm-hmm.
And this is his first week, I think, ever. Nice job, Keaton, where he sold like maybe 8 accounts and he had like 12 EFP.
Yeah.
So he's like spent all summer working towards that, and now he's figured it out. So now he's got that arrow in his quiver for next year, and I think it'll be game changing for him.
You should never stop progressing, guys. Doesn't matter where you're at in what level of sales rep you are. You can always learn and always improve, but you have to have the urgency to want and desire that. It doesn't just happen overnight. You got to be striving for it.
Nobody's good enough yet.
Nobody ever is. Mm-mm. Angel Chavez.
He might be good enough.
Not quite. Like, he's gangster. He's going to do 300 accounts this year. Like, that's gnarly. So, Chavez, you're next level, dude. You're always on this leaderboard, 15.4. Braxton, best week ever with 12.8 EFP. That's crazy.
He's got his golf swing dialed in. He's got his sales pitch dialed in. Dominating.
Those fools. I go out to Florida, and Preston's like, bring your clubs. Let's go golfing. I'm thinking it's going to be like Preston and Braxton, maybe Coulter or whatever. And 12 guys show up to golf.
That's a lot.
At 7:30 in the morning.
How did the resort have enough beer on the course
somehow it did
to facilitate that?
Somehow it did. And they all were already in their uniforms to go work.
Oh, no. It was on a work day.
It was on a work day.
Well, that's beast. And probably went to 22.
And they did.
Yeah.
They still crushed it that day. And they went straight to the meeting right after golfing. It was wild.
Could you go play 18 holes and then go knock for 6 hours?
I couldn't. I couldn't
imagine.
My hair can't be done if I do that. Jaime always killing it.
Nice. That's a big week, Jaime.
That's big time. And he's one of those guys, too, that just, you can tell the wheels are spinning in his head that he's figuring this out and he's ready to go next level. But he's one that's always hungry, always asking, texting me after I leave their market and asking me questions about what I did here and what I do there. And he's hungry. Like, I love that about these guys. Check out these rookies. Darius Murphy with 10. We got rookies throwing in double digits.
Every week.
Love it. Orlando, 5.4.
Always up there.
Jonathan, 5.3. So
I've seen you up there.
It's amazing, rookies. That's where we should be doing right now. 4 or 5 accounts a week in August. August should be your best month until you go to September. And then September's got to be your best month, rookies.
Well, how many times have like guys sold, even a rookie or even a vet, right? Like managers are freaking out in May and June, like, dude, I forgot how to sell. This market sucks. And they're doing like 7 or 8, and they're used to doing 15. And then come July and August, they just hit their stride.
Yep.
Like how often that happens every year.
And every year I feel like there's always at least vets or managers and rookies that have to turn it on in August and have to turn it on in September. And it's not fun to be in that position where you have to.
It's horrible.
But I've been in those positions before. You know, part of my stories I'm sharing when I'm traveling and training is there was a summer where I was at 100 accounts going into August, and I've never done less than 200 accounts. That means I had to sell 50 in August, which I didn't want to do.
No.
And then I had to do another 50 in extension. And I committed to that, and that's how I broke 200 that year, which is like, that's painful.
Yeah, well, that's
you gotta do
100, like 50% of your total volume in 2 of the months.
Mm-hmm.
That's wild.
So sometimes you got to turn on. Savannah going beast mode right now.
Yeah, they are chasing that cup this year.
Mm-hmm.
Sales IQ, I was part of the prototype for this. This thing's going to be amazing. Hopefully you guys are using it. If you can, give us feedback. Let us know. But if you're not using it, you're missing out on a huge tool that will create our jobs to be obsolete.
It'll not just us, but Josh Crendon, One Stop. You know, it's just going to be a tool on there. And if you have a Vivint issued iPad, it's already on there. So you just look at it when you do the update, and it'll be on there, and you can ask it any question, almost like as good as AI.
Yeah, I'm like, hey Alexa, Punta Mita, we got that coming up. Obviously, make sure you earn it. Rookies 60 EFP funded for Platinum 90. That means that you get Platinum service.
You know what the coolest part about Mexico this year?
It's at my house.
1, it's at your house, and 2, I will be having my birthday in Mexico.
So extension, a lot of guys like look at extension as that will be my buffer for my pay level, or Vivint obviously dropped a great incentive for us. But you have to earn it if you're going to go. You have to earn it in August. There's not going to be any passes on, look, I had like this excuse or whatever, and I sent a text about excuses today, but vets have to do 13 EFP in August, which is easy. Rookies have to do 10.
If you can't do 2.5 accounts a week right now,
You
shouldn't go to extension.
You should get another job.
Probably, yeah. If you're not motivated with all the incentives you have right now in August, you're not driven enough to do it, I promise you extension's gonna be even harder. So that's why they have the minimums on there. So extension, guys, this is a big announcement for some of you if you haven't seen this yet, but here are kind of what's going on. So we have the pay level bump, which there's a couple different examples, but you need to understand exactly how this affects your pay. If you finish strong and go and hit another pay level by hitting your minimums. Rookies, you got to do 12 EFP. Sophomores, you got to do 17 EFP, and veterans, you got to go do 17 EFP. A lot of times these will completely change the outcome of your back end, right? Like you'll go and not only blow through a pay scale by selling 12 more rookies, but then that'll bump you a whole nother level. So if you go and hit the 100 level, you're going to get paid at the 125 level. So it'll push you and bump you. Same with veterans and sophomores, but then they have the $2,000 scholarship bonus, which is awesome. So the best part about this is you do not have to be enrolled in school to get this bonus. It is just called a scholarship bonus.
I don't even want to pay it if they are enrolled in school.
Exactly. But Vivint does not sponsor kids to drop out of school. We don't do that. But we pay you a scholarship bonus. So even if you're not in school, you get the $2,000. You just got to go sell 15, 20, or 25 if you're a vet, and you get an additional $2,000 on your back end. So pretty awesome extension, and we're setting up great markets, great leaders to run these.
We've learned.
It's going to be high energy. You're going to be around a lot of people you haven't been around yet, which that culture is really exciting to be around new guys and a lot more energy.
So the biggest takeaway I've learned from extension is the years that we've gone out there and we've smashed extension, like guys basically are just staying until they hit the numbers. Backends have been awesome. That has been, especially second backends, like if we can go do our job in extension, the backend experience is way better for everybody. And I remember because I've had backend years where I'm like, this is too hard. Like trying to manipulate it and trying to make sure every account, like when guys go and do extension, for some reason, their pay works out much, much better. And we're not scrambling. So protect yourself, protect all your hard work by having a great extension.
Yep. Eli's group, Into the Storm. You have a ton of momentum building right now. obviously number one senior management or senior region in the Evolution group. Keep that momentum going through August. Push it on through extension. You guys are going to be in a great position going into 2024. That's all it's about.
Yeah. All right, Billy's whole region. You guys are extending in Tulsa, Oklahoma. We're stoked on that one. Get your licensing done this week. If you don't get on top of that as your leadership, you won't be part of that extension. And Tulsa is the number one draft pick. It's part of OKC West every year. They do mostly solar now, so should be very fresh for us still on smart home, and it is still a solar market for us.
Preston Bowden going to Beaumont, Texas. So this is good. This is where Kelton's team was at, right?
Do we know Beaumont?
We know Beaumont. Really
No,
well.
they weren't in Beaumont. They were somewhere else, I think.
Waco?
Yeah, we know Beaumont well. We know the market. I'll be running that with Jaime, so it'll be awesome. Jaime, we have a game plan. We're going to run it really strict, so it'll be fun. And then
no fun in that office.
We're going to go. I want to go surf behind
Zero
the barges.
fun.
I'm going to go surf behind the barges, and they do that in Beaumont, like in the Gulf.
What?
Yeah,
I've
it's like
never
the
heard.
longest ride ever.
That's crazy.
So, on my new surfboard that you guys got for me. So thanks.
Yeah.
Thank you. Brandon Miller group just locked it down today for Dallas Fort Worth, which is close. You guys can actually utilize this office.
Let's
if you
hang
need
out. Come to the office.
So-
Come to my house. Let's party.
Yep.
Cowboys games.
All of these are solar markets. Corey has been hitting us up relentlessly to make sure that did happen. And we're kind of lucky that it did. All of them have apartments, so we shouldn't be coming out of pocket. This has been strategic, and we're way ahead of everybody else with this plan because we wanted to make sure we locked down the markets. And we had big groups going into extension with the best leadership we possibly could come up with to run really tight systems, because systems matter most, I think, in extension.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then lastly, I sent out a text to you guys earlier today. I think a few of you read it. Most of you may not have, but it's kind of the respect I have. But it's just a little bit about I'm empathetic to a lot of excuses that our guys are dealing with stuff, and this happens, and I'm like, yeah, I get that. Managers are sitting in their cars taking tons of phone calls. And then I was thinking about last night, and I was almost getting upset. I'm like, I don't think it's harder than when I managed,
No.
right? And then you forwarded that text message out to, I don't know who, but it kind of went all around, and leadership had a very different response.
I have a chat thread with just the area directors, and when I saw Eli text that out, a lot of you didn't get to see the Eli I saw. I remember the Eli, Billy, and Satema offices competing for top office. Eli being one of the top reps in the company. You guys didn't get to see that and experience that and you know, kind of witness it. Same with when I ran my teams and that kind of stuff. They didn't see these things, but a lot of times Eli and these guys before you pioneered everything that we have and we take for granted. But one thing that I loved about that thread, where you talking about how an area director doing his job at the highest level eliminates all excuses for everybody, right?
Yeah.
If the area director can work through those excuses, because area directors have a lot of excuses.
They have
like,
more than anybody.
a lot of circumstances. They're dealing with a lot of stress. They're dealing with everything. So if the area director can sell through being sick, through dealing with areas, through dealing with technicians, through dealing with that, and nobody has an excuse why they're not selling.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what you expressed or what you were teaching through that text thread, and I absolutely loved it. And 240 account rep, managing a 50-man team, and the pressure that comes with that.
3 different apartment complexes
Yep.
in Pittsburgh with traffic, tunnels, everything, licensing, and every different, and you have a team in Pittsburgh. I think they're closing down, merging, but they're struggling to do like 5 accounts a day. And I'm like, we did 2,500 accounts there.
Yep.
And it was hard. We had a head tech that was super into drugs that we had to convince Vivint at the time that we needed a new head tech. So there, Casey Anderson and Ryan Anderson came out to Pittsburgh and saw the situation and finally got us a new tech. Jarvis happened that year.
That was a crazy year.
That was the worst ever, right? We lost so many accounts because of Jarvis. I was having correlation meeting in my apartment room some days because I was fat and my back was bad. I had a cane that I'd come up with, and I couldn't get out of bed some days. And so guys would, like, leadership would come into my bed, and then I'd still go out and sell. So I'm like, the excuses aren't real. Like, you can, and you guys are way more talented for sure than I was. Adam's super talented, but if you've knocked with me, it's pretty painful. For me to go do 240 accounts while managing that thing, I'm like, you guys with your skill set and the knowledge and the tools we have now, like, you guys should be smoking that.
I think the greatest lesson that all of you can take for yourselves right now is if you consider yourself a leader, right, you have to be a self-starter. You have to be self-motivated, self-driven, and not only understand that you got to turn it on to get results, not just for you, but you getting results affects everybody else. And
that is how everybody else gets results. They
Yeah.
see you. You make damn sure that you're on the board first.
Yep.
Everybody's like, oh, he's not in his car, he's working.
Yep.
And they get their ass to work.
I remember our first extension in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. We showed up, and the first day it was monsoon, like absolute monsoon, and it was for a week straight. Like I knew if I didn't drop off my car at 2:00 and get a cell right away, that it was going to be a bad day.
Yeah.
And I posted a cell by 4:00 and in a monsoon, and we did like 25 that first day, just because people saw. I guess Adam's on the doors.
You have to run into the storm. You have to,
He's knocking it.
You have to be the guy to go do it.
Yeah.
And others will follow you, but if you don't run into it, nobody's going to follow you, right? Like
Correct.
everybody's like, oh, that looks like let's run away. When you go and you sell early and you sell late, right? Like, how much guilt do we have as car group drivers if we're driving home and like our leader or even like our rookies like are posting in a deal, just got one. I'm like, man, I'm driving home already.
Yeah.
Right? Like that could have been my deal.
We're learning lessons, guys. You got one of the greatest leaders here. You don't get to see him in the era that I saw him in, but those lessons and principles still stand true to this day. And we need the new pioneers. We need the new guys to step up. If you consider yourself a leader, right now is the time to show, and you can lead by example. That's all you need to do right now.
Yeah, nothing's changed since when we were running teams.
Nope.
It still was hot.
Mm-hmm.
Was it not hot like back then?
It's just as hot.
Was it not like hard to sell people on technology?
It's just as hard.
We didn't have technology back then.
Yep.
Like nothing has changed. People think
The price was astronomical back then. When we were trying to sell $60 packages, when we were used to selling $24 packages, that was an astronomical ask.
it was an ask, yeah. But it was like, okay, that's how we get paid. That's how we make this lifestyle by having the financial freedom that this job provides. I'll go do that.
Yeah.
I'm not scared. You know what I mean? And so level up. Let's go have a dominating August, compete in every aspect of the cup, losers bracket, winners bracket, hype it up, and go take home some trophies.
Peace.
Peace.